Yeah, hey, everybody. It's David Nguyen, your Sophos product manager at Bluechip Infotech. It is a fantastic day. It is wonderful to see each and every single one of you. I think it's, what is it? It's the 16th of February, 2024. I am pleased to be able to be here in front of your screens virtually, all right? But we are live, okay? We are live, so you can say hi whenever you want in the questions and answer panel, and we will be responding to you live from Sydney. It's 10 a.m. No, it's 11 a.m. here, okay, in the middle of February. Gosh. February is already past, it's already about to be ending, and March beginning, the end of another quarter. And I've got with us today a fantastic, esteemed guest, Alvin Chu, the MSP Senior Channel Account Manager from APJ. Alvin, how are you doing, man?
Well, thanks. Thanks so much for that intro, mate.
Now, Alvin, I think a lot of partners, just kind of while we're starting up here, right? A lot of partners know you, right? Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just internally, but we know you as the hitman, okay, inside of the ANZ MSP team, right? The man who snipes all of your problems, snipes all of them away. I think we have a few attendees here you actually know you very well from the MSP program. So, we can say hi to them, but I am going to do a little bit of housekeeping and whatnot, and maybe just, a few icebreaker discussions about what we've got going on in order to give you guys the latest and greatest in the cybersecurity channel. Okay, first point for everyone, we are inside of a webinar. Yes, but you know how I run webinars, okay? It's always going to be super lively, all right, super responsive, all right, no fluff, only the good stuff. I want to make sure to help you as much as possible inside your partner journey and get you to where you need to be, all right? Today's story is about MDR and the MSP FLEX program, but I want to introduce a few features which you're probably not used to using in webinars. Okay, so that questions and answer panel, I know you can see it. That's live, all right, and it's anonymous. So you can say whatever the heck you want to me. And Alvin, okay, you can say whatever you want. I want you to say hi. I want to introduce your day. I want you to tell me how it's going, everything of that kind of sort, including asking me absolutely anything. All right. We deliver a ask me anything type of delivery inside of our go-to webinars, inside of the Sophos Bluechip team. So you can say and ask anything about the content that's going on live. We don't have a Q&A at the end. Okay, there is no Q&A at the end. It's absolutely as we're going. We want to answer your questions and just make sure that you get on your way as soon as possible, especially about the content that we're going to be giving you. All right, cool. Besides that, I think we have a few minutes to go until we get some more attendees who are just joining. All right, so I'm going to ask Alvin. You had a very, very interesting topic, all right, about Tesla. Actually, inside of the cybersecurity space that happened recently. Tesla, they held a competition. It was hosted by Trend Micro or something, right? And they held a hackathon, and someone actually managed to get in. They won a 200 grand prize or something like that, but they managed to get in and hack their infotainment system, their menus, and of the Tesla cars specifically. Is that right? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. And for those of you who haven't sort of dabbled in that sort of space or even looked into it, it's definitely a growing area of concern as we and a lot of the Australian, New Zealand government are pivoting people to more eco-friendly sort of vehicles, and people are looking at electric vehicles, which tend to be somehow connected to the internet in some shape or form. And that particular hackathon was to do with getting tech, IT, security vendors to look at the potential vulnerabilities around how some organizations may need to review their actual hardware and software for things like something as heavy and fast as an electric vehicle on the road. Imagine if that vehicle was in operation and there was sort of casualties as a result of it. Naturally, as IT service providers, like there are certain limits that you may be providing to your customers, but naturally you also want to sort of think, okay, we've looked at their laptop, what next can be a area of vulnerability? Oh, might be a Tesla that's connected to the same Wi-Fi network that they're actually operating on, and what if there's lateral movement into the rest of the ecosystem, sort of thing. A lot of this conversation, Tesla being sort of the hot word of the day sort of thing nowadays with EVs, but a lot of you on the call probably will realize this is very similar sort of idea with OT risk as well. So operational technology risk, where they may have certain types of operating systems that you can't just install an AV on it. You may need other ways to protect it. You may need other sensors on the network to protect the ecosystem for your customer. And that's some of the aspects that I'm sure that would be quite an interesting read for yourself. So I think the article was written up by Drive or Driven. I think it was drive.com.au.
Yeah, it's
And
Drive. Yeah.
yeah, if you search up Tesla 200,000 hack, again, this was a targeted campaign, things that they wanted to try and find ways of bugs and holes and stuff, and naturally Tesla would try and plug those up as well. But yeah, it's also a sort of eye opener for other vendors and other electric vehicle or even just smart car that are connected, what risks may entail with that. Because how often would you get into a car and then you get a computer issue and you're like, oh, it's connected to the internet and it's not letting me heat up my seats because of some bug.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it says here inside of the article, and this isn't too professional, but you know me, I want to be able to share the good stuff with you guys. The Drive.com article says that there was a team who earned basically 100 grand US prize for succeeding a 2-bug chain attacking the infotainment system. All right, and the Tesla modem. All right, so two separate parts of the network inside of the actual vehicle itself, which they managed to completely evade the security measures and hack into. And I think that's extremely worrying, right? Or rather, like you pointed out, it's something that just needs to be pointed out as a concern for the future of cybersecurity inside of even cars, right? Because the AI inside of the autopilot system inside of Tesla is really fascinating these days. It's shown to be extremely promising. There's a lot going on behind the wheel, right? And just the more vulnerabilities or the more threats that we could possibly be facing, right? It's growing every single day.
It's a growing attack surface area. And for those of you who have or played around with the Tesla, that Tesla infotainment system is everything that you control, basically. All the functions, park, reverse, all the buttons are on that thing. So if that gets breached, there's a whole heap of havoc that can be ensued. But yeah.
Call me cautious, but hey, it's just something that's been coming up, and we've seen it coming, and everyone's kind of been posing the questions, right, every once in a few years, and just being like, I bet you that Teslas are going to be hacked, and the computers are going to, you're going to be able to control, someone else is going to be able to control your car, etc. And we see it in movies and high-tech spy movies and stuff, but I think it's genuinely going to become a concern. But yeah, that was an event that happened, ladies and gentlemen. So just kind of, pointed out there's some new stuff every single day, right? We're not going to approach the latest cybersecurity hacks and whatnot, because I think we've got to get on time and make sure that we get things rolling. But yeah, very, very interesting. So I think we're going to start, guys. We're about 10 minutes in, and I've given everyone plenty of time to come in. I'm going to start with a poll. Okay, I'm going to start with something really, really quickly before we kind of go towards the main topics we have. So I'm going to launch this poll right here, and according to the theme of what we have, what we're going to be discussing, kind of warming us up, are you planning to offer a managed cybersecurity service to your clients in 2024? Okay, because this session is about managed detection response, right? It is about the MSP FLEX platform, which I will be introducing to you guys, but it's going to be involving a lot about managed detection and response and those managed cybersecurity services, and going out to market with that. I'll give it a few more seconds to make sure that people click into that poll and make sure people vote. We've got about 50% of our participants have voted so far. Give it a bit more, but it's either just a yes or no question, right? Are you planning to go to market? That's all. Are you planning to go to market? Only 55% of people have voted, but that's okay. Oh, it's climbed up a little bit, but that's okay. Look, I'm going to close it right now, and I am going to share. All right, it's 100%. Wow, that's fantastic. Of the people who voted inside of our webinar today, it's basically a resounding yes. Okay, it's basically a resounding yes. Everyone is planning to go to market as with a managed cybersecurity service. Okay, and that's fascinating. Okay, you wouldn't have seen this about 5 or 6 years ago, but I'm glad everyone is super interested, because it's becoming, very quickly. It's becoming a big norm inside of our channel space. You know, any type of managed service, of course, but managed cybersecurity especially. And we will go a little bit more in depth into detail about that. But let's hit the road. Let's hit the road running. Okay, we've had that poll. We've warmed up a little bit. I'm going to share with you guys what's going on. So here's the agenda. Okay, it's going to be the Flex program, a little bit of basics, some success case studies, which I'm very proud to share. A few partners have volunteered their own self in order to come up and be like, hey, you know, we're willing to be examples inside of what's going on inside the space. It'll be MDR 101 for MSP partners, all right? Some managed detection response basics for you guys, a live dashboard demonstration in order to show you guys what's going on inside the space, and of course, live trivia. Always love my live trivia. The top 3 podium winners, that's first, second, and third place, will win a $50 gift card live from us. Okay, so just a little bit of a treat for listening in and making sure that you guys are enabled and having some fun just before lunchtime. But yeah, if you guys have anything that you want to ask, okay, give it, just make sure that you put it into that questions panel and we'll be answering those live, okay? So I just want to start off first before we hit the road running with your attendance right here is time and money. All right, and I understand that and I appreciate that. So thank you, Juan, for joining. And because you have joined and you have attended and you're literally here right now staring at my face and at the screen, you don't have to do the MSP certification by joining here. So that's about a few hours saved inside of your life. You're welcome. No, I'm kidding. We want to help you guys get onto the program as fast as possible. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of joining here once you have booked in your one-on-one fast track session with me afterwards, which you are eligible for. But I'll speak a little bit more about that. You have also got, if you onboard onto the Flex program today, a 6-month volume discount band jump. Okay, and I'll explain a little bit more about what that means, but you do get a discount essentially, all right, and you start, you kick off a little bit accelerated, okay, with a cheaper unit pricing inside of the Flex, you know, program. And this is something that usually has to go through, you know, lots of, you know, case by case approvals and, you know, individual partner requests, but I've just exploded it here to all the attendees and just said that, hey, you guys get 6 months of it to get kickstarted because we like you, all right? We love you and we want to make sure that you guys succeed. So just by being here, right now, bam, I've given you that in order to make sure that you guys get on your way. Today's prizes, like I did say, $50 gift cards, live trivia, all right? It'll be held by Kahoot, so stay by your computers or your mobile phones and scan a QR code. It's only 8 questions. It'll be at the end, first, second, third place, you know? So I feel like this is already a little bit great for just being on the, are we on the, no, all good. Sorry, I'm just looking at the little presenters chat there, but, you know, wanted to make sure things that were a little bit fun and going crazy. Oh, my bad, guys. You didn't see that, but there it is. There was only this. Okay, I forgot to hide the poll screen. You get no MSP certification, 6-month volume discount band jump. Those are your bonuses and today's prizes. So fantastic there. Okay. Oh, there are also some promotions, all right, because you are onboarding onto the Flex program today. Okay, just making sure that you guys know that. If you onboard and if you onboard today and you have, or you already are on the Flex program and you have less than $1,000 in revenue, okay, on the MSP Flex program, you earn over $2,000 in Flex billings, okay, you will get a $1,000 voucher. So Sophos has kind of just put this out there. It was only just released, okay, which is why I'm still a little bit unfamiliar with the you know, with the whole program itself, but they've just released this and you are able to get, you know, some really good cash prizes out there. Thank you, Courtney, by the way, for helping me out with the screen right there. And there is also another one, okay, where you can earn a $2,500 voucher if you have 250 users of MDR Essentials and MDR Complete by March the 31st. So they told me to put this in last minute in order to let you guys know that, you know, there's even more money on the table, even more prizes and some incentives for you guys to be on the Flex program, okay, and you know, also transact. Cool. So I just wanted to start off real quick on what is the MSP Flex program, give you guys a little bit of a baseline to know what it is that we're doing here, okay? MSP Connect, or rather MSP Flex, the program itself, which allows you to be an MSP and offer Sophos services or licenses, right, was designed in order to make sure that everything was comprehensive as possible, right? One security vendor, right, which offers all of your products and everything you could need inside of your cybersecurity stack. One management dashboard. If you guys know Sophos Central very well, it is highly regarded for being a really comprehensive, all-encompassing one one management dashboard that exists in the cloud, so you can handle it and manage it from everywhere. And of course, one flexible program, all right, which we'll talk more about, but it's essentially on consumption, all right, no lock-in contracts and monthly billing, built specifically for MSPs out there who are going to market in the cybersecurity space. Okay, so just putting it out there, you will become evil. I mean, you probably won't become Sauron, but you will be able to rule every single client out there. That's a joke. That's a joke. One rule to one ring to rule them all. I hope everyone's a Lord of the Rings fan somewhere there. But I added this on top of Alvin's slides, okay, and I've added a bit of flair to it. But it is the one place, the one-stop shop, I'd like to say, for a lot of our partners, especially inside of the small to medium business space, in order to go to market as an MSP out there. Okay. So what the MSP Flex program is trying to do, right, especially with the portfolio that Sophos offers, and this is a glimpse at the portfolio for anyone who doesn't know it just yet. Okay, it has InterceptX, right, XGS firewalls, cloud optics, wireless, email, mobile, fish rate, everything you could name, server encryption, and and all types of web encryption, right? And we wanted to roll it all into one program, offer it monthly to you guys, okay, on a no consumption, no lock-in contract basis, and on consumption, so that you guys will be able to benefit from offering that entire solution, that entire program to your clients, okay, and try to make the most out of offering every single product. Because if you go out there and you're selling the termed licenses, the annual licenses, and annual licenses traditionally that everyone offers these days, you'll usually have to fight on a per deal basis, right, is the best way to explain it. You will usually have to go out there on a per deal basis and offer line by line and try to find the volume discounts and the band jumps and what quantity will break into what band at what point, and fight on each individual line for pricing. Okay, but that is no longer the case. The Flex program understands that if you invest into the program holistically, and the Sophos allows you to be able to benefit on the aggregation, it will become overall cheaper and more beneficial for you. And we will explore that in a little bit. So just consolidating, I think, is the best way to put it. Okay, and the benefits of becoming a Flex partner, just really quickly, okay, is number one, no purchase orders required. Okay, so you don't have to get a quote from us. You don't have to get a PO from us. All right, sorry, you don't have to send a PO to us. All right, you don't have to liaise with any team and have downtime, all right, or processing time or ETAs and this and that. Okay, it is all delivered pretty much instantly on your Sophos management platform, which Alvin will bring us through in a little bit. But I just wanted to kind of point that out really quickly, that a lot of people see instant success, or rather instant benefits, okay, out of this particular point, because you basically don't have to talk to your distributor anymore. You remove several emails, several quotes, several chains of communication away from delivering to your clients the solution that you need to put out there. Right. The second is license usage. Like I said before, it is purely on consumption. Right. So if you bill a client, right, for let's just say one license of InterceptX, which is that foundational endpoint license for anyone who doesn't know, if you can bill them for one on one day, right, on the 1st of January, for example, you can and then you can switch on 500 the next day, and you say, oops, I made a mistake. I accidentally entered 2 zeros instead of one number, right? You won't have to do credit and rebooks with us. You don't have to do, you don't have to wait for credits and approvals and 21-day return periods and deal with these kind of headaches, okay? You can just switch them off. So, I switch on one day, switch on 500 another day. Oops, I made a mistake. Day 3, I switch off 499 and remaining with the one. Those won't get billed at all. Okay, it's purely on consumption. The only day that it gets billed, right, or rather the snapshot gets taken for Sophos to be able to invoice you based on that consumption, is on the 22nd of each month. So about the end of the 3rd week of each month. So there's one date in which you have to be aware of, okay? And you can I know a lot of partners have lined that up with their billing date for 1 week ahead or 1 week before for their clients, just to make sure that everything's neat and tidy and giving them room before they release their invoices to their client. Okay, so yeah, license usage is purely on consumption and no lock-in contracts. No lock-in contracts. Number 3, you're able to cross-sell very, very easily, okay? And your true ups can also be done extremely easily. No longer do you have to come to us and essentially say, hey, I want to add on a user, all right? I need to co-term it to this particular date. I need to have the headache of saying, hey, I need to, line up or true up 5 or 6 different license entries and types like that into one specific date. Nope, you can just do it on the fly. I think that is probably the another benefit that a lot of partners see a lot of use out of really, really quickly. They just say, hey, I need to, throw on 5 more because this client has basically, added on 5 of their staff. Okay, done. We don't need to know about it. It's all in your hands until, of course, that 22nd date, which I mentioned about. There's also no MSRP. Just walking you through this really quickly. No MSRP. That means that you're not locked into being challenged inside of that market space against, other partners out there or other types of competitors. Okay, because there's nothing that that irks you more than when a end user goes, shopping for something that's not apples for apples or oranges, etc. And they come across you and they're battling for cents, right? Cents or dollars or minuscule little things and comparing this or that. Okay, so there's no MSRP on the Flex program, simply so that you can tie those into your own services and go forward flexibly like that. Okay, so they won't be able to search this specific SKU, for example. You're offering that inside of your own services, and on your own basis, on your own terms. And of course, the 5th one is customer retention. Okay, so inside of your 1, 2, and 3 yearly annual quotes, you're always going to be having this one annual date, which is probably the main point in which you can contact your clients and be like, hey, what's going on? Everything's coming up for renewal. Did you want to consider this? Did you want to consider that? With the monthly recurring billing, okay, and of course with the repeat communication that you're going to be having with your clients because of that monthly recurring bill, all right, it's going to be a more frequent communication. Your end users and clients are going to be expecting that type of communication, all right, so it just comes naturally as a part of a monthly build system. Okay, hey, our bill's coming up, it's probably a good time to check in, give them reports that are printed from Sophos's products and whatnot, and just check in with them and be like, hey, do you need something else? Did you if you're looking at that mobile fleet or you were building, have you protected that, etc. All those types of questions. So that's kind of what I wanted to put out there really quickly. That's the highlights of the Flex program in a nutshell. And like we said before, you can offer the entire Sophos portfolio. Every single software product, okay, that is on the Sophos portfolio can be licensed monthly. That includes virtual firewalls on that left-hand side. And I'll just get a laser pointer out here really quickly, but that's virtual firewalls, all right, and virtual subscriptions can be licensed monthly. So you can spin up and spin down virtual firewalls as you please, okay? That's helped a lot of partners before. All of our firewall subscriptions on monthly licensing, so that's XGS firewalls that we know and love, everything can be offered monthly. Servers protection, okay, similar to our Intercept X stuff on the right-hand side, which I'll cover in a bit. Our cloud optics security monitoring, okay, that's compliance tracking and everything of that sort can be offered monthly. Device reporting for advanced firewall reporting and storage is still there, okay. Our awesome endpoint security, okay, so that's Central Intercept X Advanced with XDR and MDR, that 24/7 team that completely remediates, eliminates all of the active threats that could be happening on the network at any given time, 24/7. We'll be covering that in a little bit and why it's so popular right now and what Sophos has to offer out there in the space. But of course, mobile, device encryption, central email, and PhishThreat, that education training tool, okay, that allows partners in order to come on board to a client's base, okay, and deliver simulated threats to a team, educate them, and of course go from there. And since that is licensed monthly, right, you don't have to commit to a whole year's worth of training, for example. You can do it on a monthly basis or quarterly basis to different departments. It's fantastic. So a lot of partners have benefited from that. And just to cover why, what these little units are, or rather these little letters on the right-hand side right here, all of these product families are what you are going to see, okay, inside of the Flex price list. And this is how, this is the product families that you will see your aggregated usage as they accumulate will make the pricing go down. right? The volume discounts, the more that you buy inside of these product families that we have down here, okay, your unit pricing will go down. I will show you what that means very quickly in a real world example. But just to explain that a little bit further, I just want to make sure that you guys can see a licensing example of what it's like to be an established MSP Flex partner. Okay, so usually, let's just say I have 4 clients. David Nguyen's good old MSP cybersecurity services provider has 4 clients, right? And they each have 200 users, 25 servers, 2 devices. Some have 300, some have 200, etc., right? Just a whole bunch here. Okay, if I were going out as an annual license, right? If I were going to sell out as an annual license, I would have to deal reg this one because they've reached, you know, the $5,000 user mark or something like. Sorry, $5,000 pricing band, and then I would have to basically fight. Okay, I would have to fight to see if this 200 user reached the next discount band, right? Maybe would they reach 250 users? I'm not sure. Was it 249, right? Was other servers reaching the next pricing band in order to find that price break, find the best value for the customer? It's all a bit tedious, right? But I guess you guys are used to doing this because that's kind of the yearly model that's just out these days, right? There's pricing bands at particular user breaks, okay? And I would do that the same for customer B and customer C and customer D. And that's something that a lot of our partners have said, hey, this is annoying as hell, right? I don't want to have to do that. With the MSP Flex program, as you probably guessed it, it's now aggregated, okay? So that we've taken the totals of each of my clients who are now on the Flex program instead of that annual model, and you now have a total user break, okay? Accumulative of every single user here and every single future user, right? So you have now reached an accumulative price break of 1,400 users, 45 servers, 30 devices, and 2 blocks, okay? That's kind of the gist of what I'm trying to get at. You will receive the accumulative one, and that equates, okay, to you being on the Flex program at this price break, for example, the 1,000 to the 499 user, the firewall subscriptions on 25 to 99, and the servers at 25 to 99 as well. Okay, so it's accumulative, right, and it's much more beneficial because every single license pricing, every single unit becomes cheaper. That's kind of what I mean. And since you've joined this webinar right now, you will start on the 500 to 999 user band, right? You will start on the 25 to 99 as a jump. You don't have to start from the 1. You don't have to start from the 1, you know, from square one, rather, in your firewall and your user license subscriptions, etc. You will start from 500 to 999. Okay, so that is a good jump, and I'll show you exactly what that means. What that means in terms of licensing and pricing. So I'm going to show you a price list right now, right? This is what you'll see if you are a partner, okay, if you sign up for the Flex program, and you'll start seeing this type of price list probably, you know, a lot more often, right? This is our price list for the MSP Flex program, and you quite literally can see, right, and I'll scroll out really quickly for all of you here. All of the user subscriptions, the family, like I mentioned to you before in that previous slide, all of the service subscriptions down here, okay? All of our XG firewalls, including the old XG series, all the virtual firewalls, etc., etc. I know it's a bit small to see, but I'm just trying to show you the examples of what that looks like when we say that everything is available. Cloud optics, firewall reporting, right? There are a whole bunch of other tabs here, such as appliances and SKUs, which are very kind of nifty to have. It shows the MSRP of the appliances there, okay? But I'm just gonna show you this for the sake of simplicity, okay? So we've got our user subscriptions, our family, our product family here, the user subscriptions, right? And like I said before, if you were to punch in, let's just say 1, if you start from square one, you'll automatically see populated per user per month, $5.14 charged to you as a partner. All right, we're getting into the nitty gritty and just showing you really quickly just the cost to see and a pricing exercise to let you know the differences of what you can go out to market with. This is charged to you, ex-GST, charged to the partner, not to the client. There is no MSRP, okay? So what you see is what you pay for. So I've selected 1 right here. I'll change the color to yellow to make it a little bit simpler, okay? But that's $5.14 for Central Intercept X Endpoint Advanced. Now let's go to 500, for example, right? The user band you will be starting at, okay? $3.76. See how as soon as I add users, right, to reach a certain pricing band, a cumulative of all of my clients, pretending I had a whole bunch of clients, it now reaches this mark, okay, $3.76. And you'll see this printed out for every single license down here. You'll see it for Essentials, Mobile Advanced, Intercepts Mobile, Device Encryption, etc. Okay, but that's kind of the gist of how this price list works, right? Alvin will be covering a lot more about how, the MDR and what that is. But just to give you a quick example, if you were at the one, let's just go back to one, it was $14.53, and having a 24/7 managed service and starting off not at the $14.53 mark, but at $13.06, right, is a good advantage to making sure you go out there to market with a little bit of a jump start. That's what I'm hinting about this whole price discount band jump, etc., etc. Okay, and of course, as you go up, you reach 1,000 users, for example, right? That goes down. Continuously until you hit, like quadruple 9, essentially, 10,000 users and stuff. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick glimpse of how this price list worked and where you're basically starting at. If anyone has any questions, right, you're more than welcome to throw those in. But while I'm doing this, and I'll just put everything back to one, I will quickly show you, because a lot of partners in the past have wanted me to show them what the cost of the XGS firewalls are. Okay, so let's just hit like a 136, for example, or a 116. Right, and essentially you've got let's just say a 116 is very popular because it starts with that 3G, 4G failover module. All right, a lot of partners in our space has that, and you're able to get extreme protection with web application firewall and email protection for $52.50, or the standard extreme protection bundle for $40.50. And I will just highlight those really quickly. So yeah, that's kind of the cost per month. And while we are there, inside of the XGS firewall section, in order to license firewalls on a monthly basis, you will have to have the hardware up front. Okay, that's for everyone who's asking about, is it possible to get the firewalls on a monthly basis? That is a no currently. That's currently. We are releasing something in the future where you will be able to license firewalls and hardware on a monthly basis, okay, via financing services and a few things, but you will have to have the appliance. Let's say you buy the 126, for example, right, or the 126W, which is the wireless version, upfront at your partner discount. This is the MSRP, all right? So, your clients will be able to see, hey, there's an MSRP of $1,800, for example, on the 126W, but then once you have procured that outright, you are able to then license that on a monthly basis, okay? So that's just a quick one, a very popular kind of a question that has come up. And the last thing I do want to show you is that the MSP Flex price list does have an MDR calculator. Okay, so it does have, and we're going to be talking about a lot about MDR and how it's going to benefit you and the client right now. But wanted to show you really quickly that the user pricing bands all are here, and that you will be able to enter in, however many users and servers you wanted in here. Select all of your data retention offerings. Okay, your network detection response if you wanted that, your Windows 7 extended support, okay, for anyone out there who's still using legacy operating systems, and it's much cheaper on Flex. Okay, so that is just something that I wanted to show you real there. And of course, all of the third-party integrations that you wanted to get into, which allow your third-party firewalls, such as, let's say, a PAN firewall, or or even CrowdStrike endpoint stuff, in order to be taxed on the telemetry, to be tacked on to that 24/7 MDR service. So lots in here, okay, and I'm glad I could show you a few dollary dues, some examples of let's say licenses out there in the space. But yeah, I think that is about my section. Okay, I think that's about it. So no, there's one more, and this is a surprise to Alvin because I've only just added it in, but I wanted to show you guys a few case studies, all right, of some partners who have gone into market, right? This is a warm up. This is a warm up. Some case studies or some partners who have gone into market with MDR on the MSP Flex program, okay? Just to give you guys some warm up and some ideas into how you could, if this kind of suits you, or if this, maybe some go-to-market strategies, because I do like telling all of our partners about how to, succeed inside of that space. Okay, so we've got a silver level partner who's a very, very, they're very willing to be able to be used as an example. They're in Queensland. Some of these numbers are fudged in order to give them some privacy. Okay, we can't tell them exactly. We can't tell you who they are, right? And it says authorized partner down here on the top. On the bottom right-hand side, simply because they were the fastest people to get to silver, right? Ever, essentially, that I've ever seen. So they're offering MDR as a bolt-on, all right, or as an upgrade to their current service level agreements. Okay, they've got about 10 to 20 staff, so they're not huge. All right, they're about a small to medium business MSP as they were. They're not going to white label MDR, so that service, and we'll explain a little bit more about white labeling and what that means in a bit. But they've gone to market in with MDR, Sophos MDR, in the MSP FLEX program. As a just kind of tack on, as an upgrade. Hey, Sophos is your security operations center. These are your, your SOC, your security operations center contacts. If something happens, you need to call them, but still they are offering that service instantly, right? Implementation was extraordinarily easy. Just punch in the key, and away you go on top of the Central Intercept X advanced license, which I think we all know about right here. And I think this is the most interesting part. They were willing to disclose how much they were basically charging. Like I said, some of these numbers are fudged, about 10 to 15%, but they're charging within the $200 to $400 price range per user per month. Okay, because that includes some of their services such as pen testing and vulnerability testing. All right, they're offering pen testing and vulnerability testing from a third-party source. Okay, but they're tying in that MDR service, okay, which cost them approximately $13.50, as we saw in the previous price list, $13.50, and I'll just quickly show it here. If at that, they entered in at 500, but they're $13.06 to them, and they're charging this much, okay, to their users to offer that 24/7 managed detection and response service, right? And their partner cost here, that was averaged out, I'd like to say. But yep, vulnerability and pen testing, they tied that onto that service, and the main bulk of it, of course, is MDR, and they're going out to market just like that instantly, which is what I love. They're targeting finance verticals because they have specific compliance with Essential 8 Level 2. They had to go through that, so they're targeting them, and also NFPs, not-for-profits, and academics, because the directives on the board really wanted to secure their networks. But that's one such example. Okay, just wanted to show you guys that one real quickly, and I can't, like I said, I can't say too much about them because that's not how this, we've got to show them some privacy, but I wanted to give you guys some ideas about how they are. We've also got a platinum partner, all right, a New South Wales-based platinum partner. Okay, they are both a value-added reseller and an MSP Flex partner, so they both offer monthly licenses and annual licenses out there inside the space. Okay, they offer both. There's no commitment to do one, so you can do both. They white label MDR, that 24/7 service, as their own. Okay, they didn't see that packages, bronze, silver, and gold, or platinum level packages worked for them. They did not see that. Okay, they saw that time because the clients at their level, at their platinum partner level, picked apart those packages really, really often on a casual basis. They were just like, hey, we don't need this. What happens if, can we cancel this? Can we take it out of them? There was too much headache for them, right? Especially this was at the mid-market enterprise level. Okay, their clients were very prone to picking apart the packages, compromising, saying, hey, we don't need this, we'll go for the lower tier package. It never allowed them to really succeed on their sales plan. Very understandable. Okay, so what happened was they succeeded on overhauling the SLA, and you might want to consider doing this for your clients, right? Their SLAs, right? Their standard service level agreement, right? They overhauled it completely, and they switched all of their customers onto MDR, right? Onto that 24/7 managed service, right? And it doesn't have to be a managed service. I think they were telling me, they were like, it didn't have to be, but we'll just like, screw it. We're just going to go for it. We're going to go for that top tier service, and we're going to switch all of our clients on, knowing that they are the experts, that the cybersecurity landscape is ridiculous right now, right? No one can keep up. Threats are becoming way too advanced, and we, as in the partner, the platinum partner did not have the time in order to handle most of the requests that are going in. They had to scale too hard, too fast in order to take on board all of the alerts and all of the concerns that partners had in that cybersecurity space. Okay, so it was almost like a forcible switch, you could say, and that's very interesting in order to kind of tell you guys, right? Forcibly switch, but it's really not. It's a change of service level agreement according to them. Okay, take that how you will, but that is one such strategy that really worked for this platinum partner and made them soar to success. And a lot of the board and the owners, right, depending on the people who they spoke to, definitely said that they were very understanding of the cybersecurity concern and they wanted to join in on this SLA, right? They didn't want to leave them as clients, right? If they didn't want to leave them as clients, they wanted to say, hey, you know what, this is a great move and we understand that move. So of course, it's always going to be the decision makers, always going to be the people who matter the most in making those decisions. And the key tips that they had for me in order to tell you guys, right, our attendees on this call, is make sure that you can understand, if you're going to pull a move like this, understand and articulate the full value of incident response, right? What you're delivering via these services or any services that you plan to put out there to market, right? And they made sure that they navigated their strategy around incident response planning. So asking the clients, hey, what's your incident response plan? We can put this together for you. We can handle everything if you switch to this SLA that we did. Okay, and I know that I walked through that kind of quickly. Okay, but I just wanted to make sure that I delivered that to you because a lot of partners have been asking for it. A lot of partners have been saying, hey, I need strategies similar to these, all right, in different contexts and such, and I need to make my own. How do I do it? Okay, but that's really about it. Okay, that's my section done. I will launch one more poll in order to make sure that we have a little bit of a warm up before Alvin gets ready for his section right here. Are you guys seeing a demand for managed cybersecurity services? Fantastic. Oh, we've got a resounding yes. That's really good. Okay. 60% of our attendees have voted, 67%. That's fantastic. Give it a few more seconds. But are you seeing a demand for managed cybersecurity services? Awesome. I'm going to close that poll real quick, and we've got a 70% yes, so that's a resounding yes actually. 30% no, so these people, all of you partners who are currently going to market aren't seeing it right now, but I'm sure you are chasing, or rather you are going to see it real soon, because according to Gartner, by 2025, I think the stat is 50% of organizations are going to have some type of managed cybersecurity services, managed cybersecurity service out there. So it's going to be quite substantial. So, I just wanted to share that real quick. Thank you guys for voting on that and for giving us a little bit of a heads up, right? But I think the stats speak for themselves, right? Of all of our attendees out here inside of the space right now, we are definitely seeing a bigger demand. And if you aren't seeing it yet, you're going to be seeing it real soon. So I've just hidden that. And Alvin, over to you for the MDR 101.
Thanks so much for that, David. Would you be able to share the present keyboard mouse so I could click through it on your screen?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I've already done that. So you are welcome to go.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to be looking at the MDR 101 for MSP FLEX partners, and we're going to go through some of these slides a little bit quick. But the reason why we have this particular image here is to talk about the number of things that you as an MSP are already doing for your customers, thinking about the range of automations and margins that you need to look after, the security, obviously the key things, security posture that you want to do, and obviously the revenue, what's coming in, what's going out, the administrative, the RMM tools that you might have. But not only is this a lot to do for yourselves, but what you also do find yourselves doing is a whole lot of little things in between, answering little calls, answering additional items which may not be within the particular services, but because as an MSP, you want to try and do your best, which is providing a holistic service, irrespective it is actually a security item, or if it is maybe their fax machine was broken or something like that. There's all those little things that you may be doing beyond your expectations as such. The reason why we bring this up about how some MSPs are feeling about the range of services is because when we look at something like the Sophos MDR offering, this is where we're, as David mentioned before, Sophos already have quite a wide range of solutions to provide your customer with an end-to-end protection, as such things all the way into the public cloud space, AWS, GCP, and Azure. Things like the firewalls, be it a physical firewall or a virtual firewall in that space, be it email security, IM stuff, endpoint, network detection and response stuff. For those of you who are interested in network detection and response, this is more of a sensor that's sitting on the customer's environment, which provides visibility and security from an east-west traffic. As most of you understand, firewalls typically are filtering inbound, outbound, north-south traffic, and NDR is things like it scans for maybe unmanaged devices. Let's say hypothetically there's a Tesla in the environment and they're potentially got certain vulnerabilities, and this is where things like NDR may be able to pick up, hey, why is there this weird movement between devices on this particular network as such? But the reason why we talk about all these range of things is because a lot of the time you do get a lot of noise, you do get a lot of activity, you do have things like this here, you have a lot of events, and you might be wondering, well, what does this actually mean for me as an MSP? What do I need to do? Yes, I can see that some things are actively detected and cleaned up, and that's great. But what else is there? Is there potentially, why is there such a succession of activity? Like, it seems like it's in the last 2 hours, there were like 20 alerts. Is there an active threat going on? And this is where it sort of expands and sort of segues into, how much does you as an MSP get from alerts? How sort of that alert fatigue? Great, yeah, you can sort of have a lot of these alerts shifted into a SIEM, a log collector and whatnot, but without the actual contextualizing what those alerts means, it may be a little bit overwhelming. And that's why we have this little funny image of these two kids, one holding the hose, the other one getting ready for a bit of a blast. And as an MSP, this is where using services like the Sophos MDR helps sort of reduce that noise, reduce that alert fatigue, because it means it's also making yourself question yourself, do you have the time, do you have the people, do you have the resources to be able to do these sorts of security assessments, visibility, control for your customers from a 24/7 basis? As mentioned by David before, some of your customers may not have that risk appetite, and that might be just because they're driven by price. They go, oh, that's too expensive. But if they have certain compliance requirements, if they have certain, let's say, the growing need for cyber insurance requirements, things like a 24/7, it's not a do you want it, it's do you need it? And that's where you as an MSP may need to make that distinction for them, saying, hey, you may not want to pay this, but this is something that you need, because in the event that there is downtime, in the event that your insurance doesn't go through because these things were not fulfilled, sometimes insurance providers do ask, do you have a managed service? And having one not only helps reduce the risk, but also it may help consequently reduce their respective costs as such. The other item, irrespective to the customer, is also to do with your team. How big's your team? Do you have the resources locally to be able to do that, and the skill set to be able to investigate and resolve those threats for your customers? And the lucky last thing is ask yourself, do you have a IR or incident response plan in the event that there was a major breach or a zero-day threat to you and your customers? Like, do you have something that you go, in the event of this, we're going to do this scan, we're going to have these people on deck, we're going to do these sorts of tools, and this is what we're going to get in place? And this is sort of, as you can understand, we are talking about Sophos MDR, and this is where Sophos MDR can provide that sort of skill set, timing, protection, coverage for your customers there. It's effectively an instant SOC, Security Operations Center, has a 24/7 threat detection response team. It's a follow the sun teams around the world where they sort of cycle through who's online, offline, and they'll be able to do that sort of threat hunting on your behalf. In the event of an incident, they do have full-scale incident response capabilities built into the Sophos MDR product as such. And naturally, this all boils down to being able to provide superior cybersecurity outcomes. Now, as an MSP yourself, not only are you offering these services to them, but your name is attached to them. Should something go down, obviously you don't want to be associated with that incident. And this is where it's also covering your own liabilities, your own services, your own compliance that you may have for them. Now, naturally, Australia, we may not have a fixed NIST framework that we have to work towards, but a lot of your customers are working in global environments where they may have those GDPR requirements, they may have cyber insurance requirements, they may have security posture that they need to fulfill for, let's say, HIPAA, PCI, whatever it is. And that's why, as an MSP, it is good to identify these particular vulnerabilities, and you could potentially think of them as an opportunity as how to make it better and easier for yourself to be able to provide a 24/7 threat detection service such as Sophos MDR. Now, some of the top MDR MSP customer outcomes are mainly just to give you and your customer that breathing space. Yeah, this might be quite a stock image as such. However, the key thing is to sort of allow you to step away from these types of alerts, activities, threat hunting. You know, should there be an incident that happens on a 3 a.m. on Saturday, would you be there? Would your customer be there? Would they be thrilled tapping away? Whereas through Sophos MDR, we're able to do that because we do have a team of security analysts across the world, which follows the sun, and they'll be able to do those particular threat hunts and incident responses on your behalf. And that's why this is a managed service. You know, cybersecurity is a service, which is just behind David's head there with a banner, which is future of cybersecurity is cybersecurity as a service. And this is where, think of Sophos MDR as an extension to your team, okay? Now, when we do look at this, we're going to be also pivoting over to things like, what else do these plug into? As mentioned by David, the Sophos MDR product does have a lot of other integrations available. You can have these as add-on integrations, such as people may have certain firewalls in the picture and they may not be ready to rip it out. For example, they may have a Fortinet, but they still want to ingest that information so the team can better contextualize it and be able to respond to it. They may have certain things like identity providers like Duo or Okta, and they want to ingest that information so it helps with a bit more context to see where else that particular threat may be laterally moving, how the attack vector may be happening, and what may need to be done to stop that active threat. Now, we are expanding this particular add-on integration pack over time. These are the ones that we have at the moment. So if in the future you look at this again and you see a few more logos, don't be too surprised there. Now, as we move over, what we're looking at here is a Sophos Adaptive Cybersecurity ecosystem. There's a bit involved here, but if you were to focus on from top down, on the left-hand side, the purple side is the managed services, where the Sophos MDR offering is available to be able to do the threat hunting visibility control for your customers' endpoints and servers. And naturally, the more Sophos products and the more integration packs that may be able to pull in, that allows the MDR analyst to be able to get more context. And also, we're also feeding off our internal threat intelligence, AI, Sophos Labs, and security ops teams. And also, because Sophos MDR includes our Intercept X Advanced with XDR, that also has the data lake telemetry as well to feed into. Now, some of you, as per David's poll there, may not be ready to pivot into that managed MDR service for your customers. And this is where things like the self-manage on the right-hand side, and you may be wanting to provide things like Intercept X Advanced with XDR or without XDR. And that's something that you and your team can do, that particular day-to-day management, alert monitoring, and resolution of threat hunts. Now, obviously, you will need the XDR product to be able to do the threat hunts, but it does still allow you to sort of separate different types of offerings to your different customers. Maybe some may need the managed services side, some may need the self-managed side. Regardless, both options are available on this MSP FLEX program. Now, conscious of time, I will fly through the next couple of slides, but in terms of this particular MDR item is what I mentioned before, the more sort of points of telemetry, the more that we can collect, the more that they can contextualize, the more that we can correlate. And the key thing that you want to take away here from here is to do with the mean time to remediate. The reason why we talk about 38 minutes is because should there be an incident, the mean time that we remediate these through the MDR service is 38 minutes. Now, if you were to hand on heart ask yourselves, should a customer have this and need this, how promptly can this be addressed for them by your team or by maybe the customer's claimed internal SOC? Can it be done within that 38-minute time? Because as you understand, the longer the certain threat is in their environment, the bigger the risk and the lateral movement may happen for them. Now, not only is it responding to it, but also investigating it. Maybe your customer has certain compliance saying, yes, we did get attacked, you did get stopped, but we need to reverse engineer how this even happened. And this is where the things like the investigation reporting come into the picture through the collaboration with our Sophos MDR team. Okay. Now, when we look at the MDR service, what we've got here is to do with two items, Sophos MDR Essentials and Sophos MDR Complete. The MDR Essentials, again, you may see a few less ticks, but don't sort of dismiss that, because it is actually the same Sophos MDR team, but a scaled back version in the sense that it does not provide things like the root cause analysis, full-scale incident response, dedicated incident response lead, or the Sophos breach protection warranty. However, everything else that we've been talking about in terms of threat hunting, in terms of identifying those particular alerts, resolving it for your customers, it is still a solid product that a lot of our MSPs are looking into as well. For those customers of yours who may be adamant on sticking with Microsoft Defender and you want to still have Sophos MDR on top, this is the type of license that you can also use. The Sophos MDR Essentials allows you to install, instead of the full agent, you can actually install the lightweight sensor on top of the Microsoft Defender in order to be able to collect that information from Microsoft and also be able to remediate those particular types of threats as well. Now, MDR Complete is the full item where includes the breach protection warranty, the full-scale incident response, and this is key for a lot of the MSPs that are wanting that end-to-end protection, where they have that requirement where they go, yep, we're going to swap out the endpoint, we're going to need this root cause analysis, we're going to need that full-scale incident response. It's not just putting out spot fires, but also eliminating all threats throughout the environment for that customer's endpoint and servers. Now, what do we have next? Is this clicking? Is it stuck? Okay, all right. So at the moment, we do have about 20,000 MDR customers. Across 99.98 are automatically blocked by Sophos and the MDR team. But again, the key things to identify here is the timeline, the SLAs that we have. The time to detect, it's less than a minute. Time to investigate, less than 25 minutes. Time to respond, less than 12 minutes. These are not fixed numbers, but we obviously are trying to achieve even shorter times, because it means the more that less time that we spend on this, the faster we can continue protecting these customers from the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And again, this question, these numbers go back to yourselves and your customer as to how soon should you and your team or the customer be able to respond or detect, investigate, and respond to certain threats if they did have one. And if they didn't do it in that time, what are the implications of that risk as such? Now, we are looking at the Sophos MDR team, where they are an extension of yourselves. And this is where we're also looking at the partner portal right here. We have a number of assets available. We've got the MDR opt-out template. This is something that allows you to create certain letters and campaigns for your customers, where you might want to try and convince them to bring your security standard up to a Sophos MDR managed service for them. Now, again, we're not overriding you as an MSP. At the end of the day, it is an extension of yourselves as an MSP, where you're able to provide that 24/7 service to your customers. For those of you who are Sophos partners, head over to your partner portal, asset library, and then there's a whole section around these types of assets and documents. And we'll obviously add new ones if need be. But for those of you who are on the call and they're not Sophos partners just yet, sign up as a Sophos partner. Once you have access, you'll also have access to these items as well. Let's just keep moving. Now, in terms of protecting MSPs, you're not only looking after your customers, but obviously from a supply chain perspective, MSPs themselves are also a massive target. And this is where, through the Sophos partner program, there is an NFR program, which is allowing you to get your own not-for-resale licenses specifically for yourselves as an MSP, to have them not only learn, but also protecting your own services and products internally. As an NFR, you're able to get pretty much all the software for free. The hardware is 50% off. The Sophos firewalls that David was talking about before, you get the hardware off, but the hardware 50% off, but the software for it is free. the managed detection response side of things, MDR is 45% off. It is still great value for what you and your team can get out of it, not only from a learning experience, but from a security perspective. The reason why we say learning experience is because you'll be able to understand potentially what vulnerabilities and things that you may need to clean up on your side of things, and also what types of reporting and engagements that you may have with the Sophos MDR team, should you wish to offer that to your customers as well. At the end of the day, if you are offering Sophos MDR to your customers on the MSP program, the MDR team typically would reach out to you if there are any types of engagements that's needed, because you are the partner that's involved with this. However, in terms of moving this particular item, I'm conscious of time. Do we still have time for a demo? Are we a bit over it, or are we going to arrange that separately after this call, David?
I think that's a really good point, Alvin. I think what we'll do is we'll at least show how to create monthly licenses. Just that kind of top item that everyone can see, and how easy it is in order to go in there. And then from there, we'll launch straight into the trivia. How about that?
Yep, perfect. Sounds good with me. Let me.
Sounds good. I've just made you the presenter, so if you wanted to throw your screen out there. We've got our awesome marketing team, Rain, keeping us in check, saying we've only 5 minutes to everyone and making us panic. But don't worry, guys, we're almost done, and we're almost to the trivia. So bear with us for another 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll be over there. But I hope you guys are finding a little bit of usefulness out of this information out there. It's all the good stuff that you need to know about, and there's no fluff. It's everything you need to know in order to go to market with MDR and MSP FLEX while Alvin's signing into this.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for buying me time there, David. But as you can see, I've just logged into my Sophos ID, clicked into the partner dashboard. And the reason why we're clicking on partner dashboard is where most of the activity, day-to-day management, licensing, create monthly accounts. And this is also where you'd be creating your virtual files as a service that David mentioned for your customers. Now, whilst this is loading up, it should be asking me for an MFA as well, 768490. And this particular dashboard, it's not only a management of your MSP monthly billing customers, but it's also where you'd be able to manage your term customers. So if you have customers who, yes, they've got the budget, they go, hey, we want to burn $60,000 by the end of 30 June, and you end up going with a termed offering for them due to that particular arrangement that they needed, that's fine. You could still manage those customers through the same partner dashboard here. What you will see then is those customers who are using termed licenses, they're deemed as customer-owned licenses, these two here. Or the other ones which are partner-owned licenses, these are all the monthly or MSP FLEX customers. The key thing around here is if you're looking at your partner-owned licenses, what David mentioned before about the aggregate license usage is on MSP FLEX, we aggregate all your license usage each month, and then we bill you accordingly to it. And as a quick overview, if you were to look at all your partner-owned licenses at the very top here, this row will show you what the respective monthly customers were using, and it will give you an idea what to anticipate for when you do get the billing snapshot which happens around the 22nd, which is about a week from today. 22nd US time, which is about 23rd for most of us Aussies here in ANZ. But what we mentioned before on the MSP FLEX program, once you are switched on, you're able to create monthly accounts straight from your partner dashboard here. Let's just put in something. Let's Lake Street. And the reason why we put these details here is not that we'll contact them or anything like that. It's more as a point of reference. Should you need to contact your customers, this is something that you can refer to. Now, the details around the primary customer contact, you can put maybe the IT person there, it could be the admin, it might be the owner, whoever it may be. But the key thing around it is the email address is just a unique identifier. So for those of you who have or plan to do the MSP01 course, this is actually one of the questions in there which do talk about the email address being just a unique identifier, and it doesn't actually go anywhere. It doesn't create a login, doesn't send alerts there. As you saw, I just ran my finger over the keyboard with an @ symbol at the very end, and that's unique enough. Hopefully no one's done the same combination, but when you do create this monthly account, it will ask you to choose a data storage location. The 3 primary ones that we do have is the United States, Ireland, and Germany. The ones thereafter, which are relatively new, is Australia, Brazil, Canada, India, Japan. These 5 are relatively new, and there are some products that's currently not supported in there. So the ones that are not supported are at the very bottom here. So if your customers are looking at those sorts of things, do don't hold your breath on it. We are trying to get that sort of in line with the US, Ireland, and Germany. However, as most of you in the IT space know, things on the roadmap are on the roadmap. So don't hold your breath for it. If your customer needs something right now, make sure you choose something that actually, a data storage location that actually supports all the products that they're looking for in terms of that. Whatever you do choose, we cannot swap over. So do make sure of that. For those of you who are concerned about data sovereignty, if you were to look up the Sophos Central data sovereignty, it actually provides you the information regarding what actually is in there. And more often than not, people may think they need Australia. However, because we don't actually keep any files in there, things like the United States, Ireland, and Germany are fully compliant with a lot of customers' needs as such. Now, when you do create a monthly account, we will ask you to choose a flavor of license here. Each of these licenses, as you can tell, these are radio buttons that you can choose. Yeah, we can go MDR Essentials for endpoint and server, or if you want MDR Complete, it'll be for both endpoint and server. You may not be looking at some of these other products straight away, but as mentioned by David, MSP FLEX is a consumption-based model. The reason why we need you to choose this now is in the event that you do consume it, the tenant needs to know what you are actually licensed for. Now, once you create this monthly account, it will populate on your partner dashboard under the managed customer usage, and you could start deploying and consuming the respective license. Now, let's say hypothetically, you have already created a customer, you've done maybe 5 or 6 deployments, and you start realizing, oh, I chose the wrong license for this customer. I chose InterceptX Advanced with XDR. We actually signed them up as the MDR Complete license. On the MSP FLEX program for monthly central accounts, you could actually change the license on the go. For those of you who are eagle-eyed and very keen on the topics that we had before, these are the same products that we had when we were creating them, because on the MSP FLEX program, when you change the license, you could actually choose what licenses you want to change, and you go, well, I actually signed them up as MDR Complete. Well, maybe that's what they're paying you, but you forgot that you chose the wrong license for them. That's fine. On the MSP FLEX program, you could just hit save. That change will be pushed to the respective customer that you've selected. Naturally, if you have upgraded your customer, make sure you turn on additional bells and whistles if need be. For example, going from something like InterceptX Advanced up to MDR Complete or InterceptX Advanced with XDR, you may want to enable data lake, so you could do data lake queries through the XDR sensor as such. But these are a few key items that we do want to highlight to you that on the MSP FLEX program, should you wish to create a customer on a weekend and start deployment on a Saturday or something like that, that's fine. You don't need to reach out to Bluechip to put in a purchase order for 2 licenses or 3 licenses. You just do your thing, and at that time of the month when we do a billing snapshot, the respective usage gets sent over to Bluechip and they'll invoice you accordingly for it. That's one of the beauties of making it easy for yourself, so you don't have to do those things. Now, in terms of a cost, naturally, as mentioned by David, there are respective costs for their license usage. So obviously plan for that. Don't put anything less than what the cost price is, otherwise you'll be earning money in negative. But in terms of the overall dashboard, we can definitely go through a separate session if need be for some of those who may have other needs or certain requirements as well. But one last item I'll mention before we part ways is to deal with the virtual firewalls and the firewall licenses. What David mentioned before, if a certain customer has a certain need of, let's say they've already got an XG135, hypothetically it's an old one, and you want to put a certain license on it thereafter, you could actually choose what license, be it a standard, extreme protection with WAF and email, and the license usage will be built accordingly. If you get an arrangement where you get the firewall back and you want to sort of clean it up and get it ready for the next customer, you could actually switch off the protection and it will stop billing in the month thereafter. You can get it ready for the next customer later on, and when it is, just select the subscription, hit save, and move on with it as such. Virtual firewalls is something that we have here. You can create as big or small. Same thing. Once you spin up the virtual firewall and you deploy it in a virtual environment, that firewall, yeah, you can run up to 2 core 4, but if their environment also grows and you want a bigger virtual firewall, you can run up to unlimited or to something like an 8 core 16, 16 core 24. Naturally, the bigger the firewall and the subscription, the bigger the respective cost would be as well. And we'll be able to share the respective pricing in the price list when you get in touch with us. And on that note, I think I might just pause it there so that David can take the show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, thanks, Alvin. Look, that was. I hope that gave you guys on the audience a little bit of an insight into kind of just how easy it is to use the Flex program. A lot of our partners who kind of come onto it and find great success are just like, hey, that's probably the easiest click through wizards and drop down menus that we've ever experienced in kind of rolling out cybersecurity solutions instantly without having to see, having to go through Bluechip, right? We're being made redundant. No, I'm kidding. We send you a monthly usage report and make things super easy for your invoicing and billing at the end of the month. That's what we do, and that's how we present value to you guys. And I can show you a quick example of that a little bit later. But thank you, Alvin. Okay, and that's how quick it is, right? In order to create a monthly customer, it's one drop down. All right, and you fill out the details, and you can start rolling out licenses immediately without anyone else needing to know, which is kind of fantastic, and a great platform in which to go to market with, especially when it comes to MDR. Rolling out MDR is just as easy as that, right? There's no extra add-ons and steps into it. You just select a primary, secondary, and tertiary contact for the MDR team in order to say, hey, hello, there's a threat coming on board. But it's an instant rollout, monthly consumption basis, which is what I love. I think the last thing that I'm going to quickly do is the trivia. We're straight into trivia. I will just make myself the presenter right here and make sure that I can show my screen. Bada bing, bada boom. Do make sure that you book your one-on-one fast track session. Okay, this is me being able to walk you guys through the onboarding session and skip an exam for you, okay, or walk you through a sales exam in order to make sure that you can breeze through that and save yourself more time. But in order to claim your Flex price banding jump confirmation, you just need to book a time with me. It doesn't have to be long. It's not an hour. It's basically 20 or 30 minutes, and I can just see what steps are remaining for you, just to be like tick, 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 and then we're good to go. You're onto the Flex program. Okay, we will be reaching out to you afterwards. Okay, in order to, if you do miss, these email addresses up here on the board. Okay, but don't worry about it if you don't get those going. I think the last thing to do is bam, trivia. Let's hit up 8 questions so that everyone can win. Scan the QR code. All right, I think there's 3 winners today with $50 gift cards. So if you've been listening, you get a little treat before the weekend. And I believe it's Friday, isn't it? Wait, let me check. Yes, it's Friday. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, scan this QR code, or if you want to, go to kahoot.it and enter this game pin. Jump in. There's only 8 questions, right? Just before lunchtime, win yourself $50 if you've been listening and if you've been attentive, and we can hit the road running to the weekend with a few shopping gift cards or something like that. Or an Uber Eats voucher, or, treat your family, yourself to a nice dinner. And after Valentine's Day as well, so, recover some expenses that you've spent on your SO, your significant other. I'll wait a few more seconds just before we start, just to make sure that everyone is in here and ready in order to get through this little Kahoot session right here. We will be recording the winners, but in order to claim your prize and verify that it's you, okay, you will need to send us a screenshot of your first, second, and third place. But don't worry, we've got the winners as well, so there's a little bit of us knowing who you are as well. Fantastic. We've got 3, 6, 9 people. 9 people. I will open it up for just about 20 more seconds to get the last people in. 8 questions of trivia, and then we're out to lunch. All right, and we've got some winners, and that's the fantastic part, being able to end on a little bit of a high note after learning about some MDR and MSP Flex. Okay, I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Guys, there's no practice questions, by the way. Okay, we're playing for money, so we're going straight into it. This is Bluechip's MDR and MSP Accelerate webinar 3, 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen. All right, first question. How many MDR customers does Sophos have? Okay, Alvin covered one of these inside of the slide. All right, here you can answer on your phones or on your devices. The questions are up here, okay? How many MDR customers does Sophos have? Yeah, it's fast, guys. No, that's good. Awesome. It is more than 20,000. I think the official number is 21,000 right now. Okay, so good question. Good question to warm up right there. It does get harder, guys. It does get harder. Scoreboard. We've got RC at the top, Paul and Greg B. Good job, guys. Good job. We're going to be breezing through this in order to make sure that we've got some time. What are the MDR service levels? Okay, this one's another little easy one for you guys. What are the MDR service levels that we talked about? Okay, what are the service levels? Good job, guys. You were listening well. MDR Complete and MDR Essentials. There are only 2 tiers, okay? You know, it's a good and even better kind of service level tier right now. But the MDR Complete has the breach protection warranty and full elimination remediation of all threats on the network. So I think that's really important. Quick look, James F, Greg B, and RC, good to go. We've got 6 more questions in order to help you guys out, so plenty of time to get in that leaderboard. What license allows organizations to DIY threat hunt? Alvin covered this in a quick comment inside of that big portfolio one, but which license organizations? And I've got a joke one in there, but Cameron didn't join us today, but you can replace that of Alvin choose X-ray for server. That's a little funny one. But which license allows organizations to DIY, to threat hunt themselves, okay? Good job to the 2 who got that. It is the extended detection and response. The flavor below MDR, the license tier below MDR, is extended detection and response. It'll allow you to threat hunt. So it is the extended detection and response. I know that it says extended right there, but it's X. So don't worry. This was a little bit of a trick question, guys. Got to make it fun because we're playing for money here. Okay. So Greg B, Dan B, and James F for pinpointing the right one. Good job, guys. What MDR tier comes with a $1 million breach protection warranty? I did mention this just the question before, so I'm gonna stay silent. What MDR tier comes with a $1 million breach protection warranty? Good job, guys. It is MDR Complete. Fantastic. It is the MDR Complete that comes with the breach protection warranty. Greg B, Dan B, and James F, good job. We're going to breeze through to the next one so we keep on time. Who do you call if an organization is facing a ransomware attack? Okay, if they're facing a ransomware attack inside of the Sophos portfolio, you can call on a service, all right, in order to help them out if they are facing one. Okay. Good job. It is rapid response, guys. It is a rapid response. Everyone said security threat response. It is not. It is a rapid response. You can call on Sophos's Security Operations Center if you don't have MDR in order to come in on a whim, okay, on demand, okay. So Greg B, James F, Dan B, good job, guys. Breezing through to the next one. What is Sophos MDR's threat response time to detect, investigate, and respond? This number came up the most inside of Alvin's side of things, all right, and there's a small margin for error on these 4 answers right here. Awesome, it is 38 minutes. I'm glad everyone was listening, the majority of everyone. That's fantastic. It is 38 minutes, all right, to detect, remediate, and respond and eliminate those threats. 38 minutes, okay, that's extra fast. Greg B, James F, RC, good job. You guys are sticking to the top of that leaderboard. First, second, and third place does get a $50 gift card. What MDR products can be deal registered? Okay, this is for the partners in the know who are a little bit more into the Sophos program. Okay, what MDR products can be deal registered? And I've given you guys a bit more time to look at these answers right here. Fantastic. It is all MDR products. Okay, so if you're in the know a little bit about this one, it is all MDR products that can be deal registered. Okay, the over 5K MSRP does apply to the rest of the program, but it's actually all MDR products that can be deal registered. So good job, guys, for knowing this one. Greg B, James F, RC, still sticking to the top there. Love the consistency, guys. And finally, what is the NFR discount for MDR licenses? What is the NFR discount? Okay, Alvin covered this one in one of his slides. The NFR discount. Fantastic, it is 45%. I'm glad a lot of you guys got that right. It is 45% off on the NFR for MDR licenses. All right, I think that's the end of it. Let's approach the podium and see who won a $50 gift card on our webinar. Third place, Dan B, congratulations. James F, congrats to you as well. And first place, the best listener and the fastest to respond, Greg B. Fantastic, guys. Thank you very much for playing, of course, and thank you for attending. Thank you all to our attendees. I'm glad we were able to, hit it with some high notes. That's basically the end of the webinar. We will be talking to you guys after and following up, all right, in order to make sure you guys are onboarded onto the Flex program successfully and all of the good stuff that comes along with it, okay? So thank you once again. I hope you guys have a fantastic lunch. Alvin, did you have anything last to say before we head off?
No, all good. Thanks everybody for joining in, and definitely thanks Bluechip team for arranging this.
Nice. Well, I'm glad. I hope everyone took something out of it, and we will see you all next time. So thanks, guys. Goodbye.
Cheers and bye for now.
Oh man, let's go.